Hey there, Washingtonians! Welcome to our channel, the meeting place for those who truly live and breathe our team. Today, I need you to pay close attention because the news I'm about to bring could be the turning point we've been waiting for or the beginning of a major headache. We're facing a storm of injuries and our star player, our offensive captain, is at risk. But what if I told you that management made a masterstroke, or perhaps a desperate move, bringing in a name that was once a giant in the league but carries a baggage of controversy? Stay with me until the end, because we'll analyze every detail of this surprising signing. Let's get straight to the point that's keeping us all awake at night: the situation of our receiving corps. It's no secret that we're struggling with injuries, and Coach Dan Quinn is doing everything he can to keep the boat afloat. The problem is that the water keeps rising. First, we had the news about Noah Brown, who has barely managed a healthy streak since the preseason, and as if that weren't enough, the news no one wanted to hear came to light. Our All-Pro, the heart of our offense, Terry McLaurin, is dealing with a quadriceps injury. This is a huge blow to our ambitions. We know the official narrative is always optimistic. Dan Quinn went public to say the player's recovery is progressing well, but those of us who follow closely know that words don't always reflect the full reality. Our general manager, Adam Peters, isn't one to sit around waiting for things to resolve themselves. He's always looking for alternatives and contingency plans, and proof of this came with a market move that took many by surprise, a signing that took place just before the preparation for the crucial game against the Chargers. And here's the big bombshell, the main story of our video today. According to reliable sources in the American press, such as ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Commanders have agreed to sign receiver Robbie Chosen to our practice squad. For those unfamiliar with the name, you might remember him as Robbie Anderson. Yes, that one. A player who, in his prime, was considered one of the most explosive and dangerous long route receivers in the entire league, a true nightmare for opposing defenses. There was a time, not so long ago, when Robbie Chosen seemed destined for a very successful and distinguished career. In 2020, playing for the Carolina Panthers, he had a spectacular season, surpassing the 1,000-yard receiving mark. This performance earned him a contract extension and the expectation that he would become the centerpiece of that offense. However, things quickly began to unravel, especially after the firing of head coach Matt Rule, who had a good relationship with him since their college days. From that point on, his career entered a downward spiral. His relationship with the interim head coach, who took over at Carolina, Steve Wilks, was terrible from the start. The low point was a heated argument on the sidelines during a game against the Los Angeles Rams, an episode that culminated in his trade to the Arizona Cardinals less than 24 hours later. His time in Arizona was short and lackluster, followed by a stint with the Miami Dolphins, where he never managed to establish himself as a key player in the offense. He was recently released from the San Francisco 49ers practice squad. Now, he arrives in Washington with a chance to start over. At his peak, Chosen was an electric player. His main characteristic was always his speed, able to stretch the field and threaten defenses in depth, something our offense desperately needs. He also showed a knack for catching passes in the middle of the field and gaining yards after the catch. The big question is, does he still have that ability? While he's not the same player he once was, the cost of finding him is very low and our need is very high. Robbie Chosen's arrival, even if only to the practice squad, is a very clear signal. This leads us to believe that the situation of Noah Brown, and especially Terry McLaurin, may be more delicate than we imagine. It's very likely that the coaching staff won't have one of them, or perhaps neither of them, for the next game. Chosen can be seen as an insurance policy, someone who can be activated immediately if needed. The time for him to adapt is short, but the opportunity is enormous. I want to hear your first reaction upon hearing this news. Do you think it was a good move by our board? Leave your honest opinion in the comments. And if you want to follow every step of Robbie Chosen in training and get the fastest update on Terry McLaurin's condition, do one thing now: subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. I'll be bringing you all the latest news throughout the week, and you won't want to miss out. This move leaves us with a very important consideration for the future of our team. It's a low-risk financial gamble, but with a very interesting potential technical return if he rediscovers his playing style. Robbie Chosen will undoubtedly be motivated to prove he can still play at a high level and silence his critics. Only time will tell if this was a stroke of genius or a shot in the dark. Now, I leave you with a question. Is the arrival of a player with such a volatile past the ultimate test for the culture Dan Quinn is trying to build in Washington?